Alright, so I just want to spread a little bit of positivity in the Hearthstone community because there's a lot of complaining going on right now, and I've been a part of it, and I'm going to try to equal that out and also tell you that I'm trying to be less pessimistic about all this in general. For the past couple of days, I've been trying to be more optimistic, more just happier on stream, and just a more go-lucky kind of guy, and I feel like it's definitely helped me have more fun streaming for you guys and playing the game as a whole, and because of that and the fact that it's helped me have more fun with Hearthstone again, I feel like it's something that I should try to do for everybody else and just put into light like a lot of the things that people aren't focusing on, because like psychologically it's a lot easier to focus on the negatives than the positives. You remember that time when they top deck lethal a lot more than the times when you played Dragon Queen Alexstrasza into Nazari and saved your life. Just statistically speaking and scientifically speaking, you're going to remember the negative things more, and that was like a specific game example, but it also takes into account this entire game as a whole. So I want to try to bring to light all the positive things, that way you guys don't get burnt out on the game, you guys don't give it up, just because of the couple admittedly stagnant, polarizing things that have been going on in the game right now. So first thing is the fact that we've gotten a new class. For the first time ever, we actually got a new class, which, yes, it was implemented poorly. Before people start in the comments being like, well, Demon Hunter was ridiculously busted on launch. Think about it. This is the first time they've ever done anything of this level, and even games that do this all the time, like League of Legends, when they release a champion, it is either straight garbage and needs to be buffed immediately the next 2-week patch, and then maybe the one after that to get them back to where they wanted to be, or they'll be ridiculously overpowered and they'll need to be nerfed down instantly. Sometimes hotfix. Just look at Wukong, for those of you who play League of Legends. Like, everybody was like, oh, okay, he kind of needs a nerf pretty fast, and it happened. Obviously, it's taken a little bit longer in Hearthstone, and there's some reasons for that, and I'll get into it, but the fact is, we got a new class, and we can't expect them to be perfect doing a thing that they've never done before for the first time, right? So that's that. In my opinion, I think Demon Hunter built up a lot of hype, and it really shows the player base that Hearthstone and Blizzard want the game to be hyped. They want to be good for the community and create new things to keep us interested. They really want this game to be good. So the fact that they were willing to put a whole new class out there really is telling to me that they are willing to do so much for us, right? Like, despite the fact that we give them a lot of shit, like, they do a lot. Not only that, but there are a lot of other things coming out. Let's just talk about Battlegrounds. Battlegrounds was a slam dunk. It's a really popular game mode. It had a spike in Hearthstone player base that has maintained slightly because people absolutely love the game mode. It's fairly simplistic, but it's also relatively competitive, and although I don't play it too much, it's a good game mode that has a lot of support, and ever since Demon Hunter, people haven't been realizing that, like, the game mode of Battlegrounds has been out for about a year, or less than a year, actually, and all of a sudden, after one bad thing happened, where, okay, obviously really big, Demon Hunter was kind of busted, everybody forgot the fact that not too long ago, they got a whole new, really fun game mode. So just to put it into perspective, they're trying to do a lot, and a new class is something we've never really gotten before. Not only that, but the game, or the Blizzard developers, are telling us that there's going to be another game mode at some point this year. I don't know if it's been delayed by COVID, but according to their yearly plan at the beginning of the year, there's a lot more new stuff for us to get excited for, and I'm personally really excited, partially because I want this meta to be over and a new expansion to come out ASAP, but also I'm just excited in general to see what they have in store for us. The next thing is the fact that they have fast nerfs. Similar to how I said, like, League of Legends will need to bring down or bring up the class or the champion if it's way too strong on release or way too low or just something gets out of hand. Hearthstone is now doing the same thing, and I think it's really good to spice up the meta. Obviously, they're not going to be able to address everything all the time, and sometimes the developers will think something is balanced, and over time they'll be like, people discover the counterplays for this. It's just that they haven't really done it right now, and part of that, let me just tell you right now, I feel like one of the reasons why, like, Hunter and stuff hasn't been nerfed too much recently is because I've had a lot of success with it as Paladin, just healing and not dying and being able to deal with some of their big minions. I feel like it's just, there are counters to these things that the developers know that we're just not exploiting. And that might be because other things are too powerful. So if they're nerfing Demon Hunter and free cards and that sort of like value train and swing turns, it'll mean Paladin can be played, which will inherently nerf other things. So if some things aren't being targeted, just realize that. The things that are being nerfed will cause other decks to rise in the meta that will probably counter the decks that aren't nerfed. Right? Because with the Demon Hunter being nerfed, Hunter will also rise, which means Hunter will probably beat Priest a lot because Highlander Hunter beats it relatively consistently, at least for me. And so the fact that they come out with these fast nerfs to keep things spiced up, to make sure things never get ridiculously too out of whack, is great. Like, think about it. Before now, nerfs only came out every now and then. Like, literally maybe once an expansion tops. And even then, it was almost not even that often. And also, they've buffed some cards that are weak, which didn't happen at all until Boomsday expansion, where they buffed a lot of those really weak cards, and then obviously reverted some of them. But, like, the fact of the matter is they're trying to do all of these things a little more consistently to make sure the game stays relatively balanced. And speaking of balanced, if you just look at statistics on Vicious Syndicate, look at the distribution of classes. Obviously, Warlock, Paladin, and Shaman are down here, but there are always going to be classes that are weaker than the rest, and always going to be a class or two that'll be stronger than the rest. It's just the nature of card games. But even then, I think Pure Paladin definitely deserves to be played about this much. And if you look here, although yes, Demon Hunter is ahead, there's a very healthy, balanced meta here. Like, look at how many different people are playing all of these different classes. I personally think that that's great. Obviously, if you go up ranks, there's Aggro Demon Hunter, but like across all ranks, it's fairly balanced. And this is only because people are trying to grind out fast games and climb, but even then, like it's fairly healthy down here. It's not like one or two clear dominance and then the rest is just doo-doo like it was a while back. It's relatively diverse across all ranks. And in Legend, it reins itself back in. Again, Diamond 1 to Diamond 4 is a really weird metric to look at, because that is the people who are just try-hard grinding, trying to get a ton of games down as quickly as possible with like aggro decks for the most part. And Demon Hunter is kind of known as the grind class, so that's why it's up here. But then you go back down to Legend and then all ranks, and it stabilizes a little bit. But the point is, the diversity is there. Sure, uninteractive to play against Priest, uninteractive to play against Druid. Demon Hunter's a little bit overtuned right now. The Highlander Hunter has, or not Highlander, Mage has a ton of RNG based components, and Rogue has a ton of free cards that's hard to interact with. But the point is, every class has their little thing, and there's a wide enough diversity to where you never really know what you're going to go up against. I remember not too long ago when Hunter was literally played 35% of the time. 35%. And I'm not saying that that's good. I'm just saying that our current state right now isn't as bad, especially considering Blizzard knows this and they're trying to nerf these cards. They're really doing their best. So next we have the fact that it's more free to play. Free to play cards are, or free to play aspects of a card game are great, right? Not only are we getting more rewards per ranks now, and we just look at our chest, like look at how many rewards I'm gonna get. I'm gonna be getting 7 rare cards, 5 packs, and an epic card for grinding through the ranks. And first of all, that's great. But second of all, returning and new players get an entire free deck. I feel like Arena's still a very efficient way to get gold and make the most out of that. There should be some more events and stuff, but I'm not going to blame them too much, at least right now, because of COVID. It's hard to organize all of this stuff. But like, there's duplicate protection from a common and rare card. So some people who are just getting like a bare minimum amount of packs have protection from duplicates on that, and they'll get at least a full rare and common collection before anything bad really happens. All of this stuff is extremely good for the free-to-play aspects of the game, and I think that's something that gets overlooked. People still think that it's pay to win, and I mean, to some extent it is. Trust me, I paid a lot of money and I have pretty much all of the cards, so I can play whatever deck I want, but it's a lot more accessible now. They gave some free cards for Demon Hunter when the class was released with the little adventure, and overall I think it's a pretty good time. And the last thing goes back to being negative, but it's about the community, not the game. The community will never be satisfied, and I'm gonna be honest, a lot of the time I won't either. There's always gonna be something to complain about, just by the nature of things. If they nerf certain things, other things will rise and be problematic, and then people will complain about that, and then the other thing will rise, and then people complain about that, and it's just a cycle going back and forward. It's like the seesaw. That's what it is, right? The seesaw is the thing that does this. If I'm wrong, please tell me in the comments. I might be stupid, but the point is, there will never be total satisfaction. So why focus on the bad things and try to focus on the fact that Blizzard is actively trying to help us? They're nerfing a ton of different things. They're trying to nerf things for the future, right? Like those free cards that are nerfing, and the fact that they're nerfing Rogue and the Dragon Caster and Alexstrasza are good nerfs because it keeps cards from being free, and free cards are always dangerous in a card game. And just look at Backstab and Shadow Step. Like, they're problematic cards and can cause for a lot of combos, but they're not as problematic because their power levels are relatively weak. But just imagine with Galakrond or Dragon Queen Alexstrasza or any other way, or Dragon Caster, you now get to play another thing for free that's a lot more powerful. It's just, they need to be nerfed. And although the classes aren't all that powerful, at least in the case of Mage and Rogue, it's a precaution that needs to be taken for the next expansion. I've already talked about this, but the point is, even if you don't understand why things are being nerfed now, you should realize that there is a plan that Blizzard is having, right? And they can't nerf everything that you want all at once, because if they nerfed everything about Demon Hunter all at once, it could have killed the class. And Demon Hunter was kind of their baby. It's their first new class ever, and they wanted to do it slowly. If they nerf everything all at once, there'll be a whole new set of problems. The meta will be thrown in the air, nobody will know what to do, and then it'll stabilize again, and there will be a whole new set of top tier decks and bottom tier decks, and people will complain again. Like, the point is, focus on the positives. Blizzard is doing their absolute best for us right now, and especially considering the fact that they probably can't work at full capacity because of COVID, and the fact that we're all probably a little on edge because of COVID, the fact that yes, some things were handled poorly, we need to just be a little more optimistic about it, right? And even if we're not optimistic about this one, be optimistic that the next expansion, Blizzard will fix their mistakes, because it's very possible that they do, and it's hard for a card game to do something about it if the meta's bad for like an expansion, because they have to wait till the next expansion to fix their problems. I don't know, these are just things I feel like you need to also think about. Blizzard's doing everything that they can to keep the game entertaining for us, to keep the game competitive, and I think they're doing a fairly good job despite all of the complaining. Yes, there are things that are wrong about the game. If you made it this far, yes, some decks are uninteractive. Yes, there's a lot of RNG components. Yes, Demon Hunter took a lot longer to be nerfed, hopefully finally to the point where it's balanced than it should have. And yes, the solo adventures needing to cost gold and you can't get them through dust is annoying. There are issues, but the point is, despite those issues, there are a lot of positive things that are going on right now that I feel like we need to focus on. And that's about it. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope that this doesn't get too much hate because I basically just went against the popular opinion of everyone. Like, the game sucks, Blizzard sucks, they can't develop, they can't balance. And I hope that it put something into perspective and hopefully you gained something. And also, hopefully, worst case scenario, you at least learn that I want to be more objective and less subjective about all this stuff, and try to have just more fun with the game, especially when streaming for you. So hopefully I can be more entertaining, as opposed to just being, you know, a sourpuss the whole time because RNG screwed me over. Like, I can't, it's a mechanic of the game now, I just need to get over it. Also, if these things never existed in the first place, something else would have existed that would have been complained about as well. So, I don't know. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. See you in the next one. Bye.